Lucas Jameson had just $18 to his name until payday, and his truck's gas gauge hovered dangerously close to empty. At 29, being a single father to 7-year-old Emma wasn't exactly how he'd planned his life, but her mother's decision to abandon them 3 years ago had left him with no choice but to rebuild their world piece by piece. Tonight, like most nights, he was leaving his second job as a security guard at a downtown office building, his shoulders heavy with exhaustion. "Daddy, can we have pancakes tomorrow?" Emma asked from the back seat, clutching her worn teddy bear. Her innocent question made Lucas's heart ache. She deserved so much more than counting pennies for pancake mix. "Sure can, sweetheart. I make the best pancakes in all of Seattle, don't I?" He winked at her through the rearview mirror, keeping his worries hidden behind a smile. Emma giggled. "With chocolate chips." "We'll see," he answered, mentally calculating if he could stretch their groceries until Friday's paycheck. As they drove through the rainy streets, Lucas noticed a sleek black Mercedes pulled over at an awkward angle near a bar district. A woman in an elegant dress stood beside it, looking frustrated as she spoke on her phone while a man swayed unsteadily nearby, clearly intoxicated. Lucas would have driven past other people's problems weren't his concern when he had enough of his own, but something about the scene made him slow down. The drunk man was moving closer to the woman, who was backing away while still on her phone. Her body language screamed discomfort. "Emma, I need to help someone. Stay in the car, okay? Lock the doors if I get out." "Is that lady okay?" Emma asked, peering through the window. "I'm not sure, honey. That's why we're stopping." Lucas pulled over a few yards ahead and watched through his mirror. The drunk man was now following the woman as she walked briskly away from him. Lucas's protective instincts flared. He turned to Emma. "I'll be right back. Remember, lock the doors." "I know, Daddy." He smiled at his daughter's serious nod, then stepped out into the drizzling rain. As he approached, he could hear the woman's voice, calm but firm. "Sir, please leave me alone. I've already called for assistance." The drunk man slurred. "Come on, pretty lady. Let me take you somewhere nice. That car of yours broke down, but I got wheels." Lucas stepped between them. "Everything okay here, madam?" The woman looked at him with striking green eyes, relief washing over her face. She was perhaps his age, with chestnut hair framing delicate features. Despite the rain, she maintained a composed elegance. "This gentleman was just leaving," she said firmly. The drunk man swayed. "Hey, who asked you? We're having a conversation." "Doesn't look like the lady wants to continue it," Lucas replied, keeping his voice even but stance solid. Years of construction work had built his frame, and his current security job had taught him how to de-escalate situations. "Mind your own business, man," the drunk snarled, taking a step forward. Lucas didn't budge. "Sir, you've had too much to drink. Let me call you a cab." "Fuck off." The man lunged clumsily, but Lucas sidestepped, placing a firm hand on the man's shoulder to steady him. "Listen, buddy, you don't want trouble, neither do I. Go home and sleep it off." Something in Lucas's calm authority seemed to register. The drunk man mumbled obscenities but backed away, eventually stumbling toward a group of people further down the street. Lucas turned to the woman. "Are you all right?" She nodded, tucking her phone into a small purse that probably cost more than his monthly rent. "Thank you." "My car stalled and my driver is at least 20 minutes away." "Driver?" Lucas registered her careful phrasing but didn't comment. "That's a long time to wait in this weather. I could give you a lift somewhere safe if you'd like. My daughter's in the car." The woman hesitated, studying him. "I don't want to impose. It's no imposition. I'm Lucas Jameson, by the way." "Amelia Nightingale," she replied, offering her hand. Her grip was firm, confident. "And I appreciate the offer, but I should wait for my driver. He'll be concerned if I'm not here." Lucas nodded, respecting her caution. "Then I'll wait with you. That guy might circle back." "You really don't have to," Amelia protested. "I'd feel better knowing you're safe. Plus, it's what I'd want someone to do for my daughter someday." Amelia smiled, a genuine expression that transformed her face. "Your daughter's lucky to have a father like you." Lucas glanced back at his truck, where Emma was watching curiously. "I'm the lucky one," he gestured toward his vehicle. "At least wait in my truck until your ride comes." "It's dry and Emma would love the company. She's 7 and full of questions." Amelia laughed softly. 7-year-olds ask the best questions. After a moment's consideration, she nodded. All right, Mr. Jameson. Lucas, please. Lucas, then. As they walked to his truck, Lucas couldn't help noticing how out of place Amelia looked next to his rusted Ford. He opened the passenger door for her before climbing in himself. Emma, this is Miss Nightingale. Her car broke down and we're going to keep her company until her ride arrives. Emma's eyes widened. Your dress is so pretty. Are you a princess? Amelia laughed, the sound light and musical. No, just someone who had to attend a very boring dinner. Was there cake at least? Emma asked seriously. Unfortunately not. They served something called deconstructed tiramisu, which wasn't nearly as good as real cake. Emma wrinkled her nose. That sounds weird. It was, Amelia confirmed. What's your teddy bear's name? This is Mr. Beans. Daddy got him for me when I was 4. Lucas watched as Amelia engaged with Emma, showing genuine interest in his daughter's chatter about school and teddy bears. There was something refreshing about her lack of condescension, especially given the obvious class difference between them. 15 minutes passed in comfortable conversation before a sleek black SUV pulled up beside them. A professionally dressed man stepped out and approached. That's my ride, Amelia said, gathering her purse. She turned to Emma. It was lovely meeting you and Mr. Beans. You too, Emma beamed. Amelia turned to Lucas. Thank you again. I don't know many people who would stop to help a stranger these days. Lucas shrugged. Just did what anyone should do. Amelia reached into her purse and pulled out a business card. I'd like to properly thank you, perhaps coffee sometime. Lucas hesitated, surprised by the offer. The card was simple but elegant, reading Amelia Nightingale with a phone number, no company name or position. Sure, he found himself saying, coffee would be nice. Amelia smiled again, that transformative expression lighting her face. I'll look forward to it. After she departed in the SUV, Emma piped up from the backseat. She was nice, Daddy, and pretty. Lucas tucked the card into his wallet. Yes, she was, Pumpkin. Now let's get home. It's past your bedtime. As he drove away, Lucas told himself not to read too much into the coffee invitation. Women like Amelia Nightingale didn't date men like him, men who counted pennies for pancake mix and worked 2 jobs just to make rent. Still, the memory of her smile lingered as they headed home through the rain. 3 days later, Lucas stood in the small kitchen of their apartment, making Emma's promised pancakes. He'd splurged on chocolate chips, unable to resist her hopeful expression at the grocery store. Daddy, when are you going to call the pretty lady? Emma asked, swinging her legs at the table. Lucas flipped a pancake. I don't know if I am, sweetheart. Why not? She gave you her number. It's complicated, Em. That's what grown-ups say when they don't want to explain, Emma said wisely. Lucas chuckled. You got me there. The truth was, he'd taken the card out multiple times, considering whether to call. What would he even say to someone like Amelia? Their worlds couldn't be more different, yet something about her authenticity with Emma kept drawing him back to the possibility. After breakfast, while Emma was engrossed in a cartoon, Lucas finally worked up the courage to send a text. Hi, Amelia. It's Lucas Jameson from the other night. Just checking if you still wanted to grab coffee sometime. He set his phone down, expecting a delay or perhaps no response at all. To his surprise, it buzzed almost immediately. Lucas, I was hoping you'd reach out. Are you free tomorrow? There's a great little cafe called Harbor View near Pike Place Market. Lucas knew the place. It was moderately priced but definitely above his usual coffee budget. Still, he could manage it once. Tomorrow works. 10 a.m. Perfect. See you then. Lucas set his phone down, wondering what he'd just gotten himself into. The next morning, after dropping Emma at school, Lucas arrived at Harbor View 10 minutes early. He'd worn his best jeans and a button-down shirt, casual but neat. The cafe overlooked Elliott Bay, its windows offering a panoramic view of the water. He spotted Amelia the moment she walked in. Unlike the elegant dress from their first meeting, she wore stylish jeans, a soft sweater, and minimal jewelry. Her hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail. Despite the casual attire, there was still something inherently polished about her. Lucas, she smiled, approaching his table. It's good to see you again, he stood to greet her. You too, thanks for suggesting this place. The view is amazing. One of my favorites, she agreed, sitting across from him. How's Emma? She's great. Asked about the pretty lady all weekend. Amelia laughed. She's adorable. And very perceptive. A waiter approached and Lucas braced himself for the prices as he opened the menu. Amelia must have noticed his hesitation. Please, let me get this. It's the least I can do after you rescued me. Lucas shook his head. That's not necessary. I didn't help you for a reward. I know that, she said softly. That's precisely why I'd like to, but if it makes you uncomfortable, we can each pay our own. Her understanding disarmed him. All right, compromise accepted. After ordering, they fell into surprisingly easy conversation. Lucas learned that Amelia worked in finance, though she was vague about specifics. He told her about his construction job during the day and security work at night. 2 jobs must be exhausting, she commented. It is, but Emma needs stability. After her mom left, I promised myself she'd never feel insecure again. How long have you been on your own with her? 3 years. Her mother decided family life wasn't for her and took off with a yoga instructor to find herself in Bali. He'd meant it to sound light, but bitterness crept in. Amelia's expression was sympathetic but not pitying. Emma's fortunate to have you. Many people would have crumbled under that pressure. Lucas shrugged. You do what you have to for your kids. Not everyone does, Amelia said quietly. My father wasn't around much. He was too busy building his company to attend ballet recitals or school plays. I'm sorry to hear that. Ancient history, she smiled, though it didn't quite reach her eyes. Tell me more about Emma. What's she into these days? Their coffee stretched to nearly 2 hours as they discovered mutual interests in hiking, old movies, and surprisingly, vintage motorcycles, though Amelia admitted she'd never actually ridden one. That's something we'll have to fix, Lucas said, then caught himself. I mean, if you wanted to. Amelia's eyes brightened. I would actually, very much. As they finally prepared to leave, Lucas found himself reluctant for their time to end. This was nice, thanks for suggesting it. Would you like to do it again? Amelia asked directly. Maybe dinner next time. I'd love to meet Emma properly. Lucas hesitated only briefly. She'd like that, so would I. Over the next few weeks, coffee became dinner, which became weekend outings with Emma. Amelia fit seamlessly into their lives, bringing a lightness Lucas hadn't realized was missing. She never flaunted her obvious wealth, arriving for hiking trips in practical clothes and treating their fast food picnics with the same enthusiasm as restaurant meals. With Emma, she was patient and engaged, helping with homework and participating wholeheartedly in imaginative games. Lucas found himself captivated by this woman who could clearly afford luxury but seemed most content in their simple world. One evening, after Emma had gone to bed, they sat on Lucas's small balcony sharing a bottle of wine. You never really talk about your job, Lucas observed. Amelia swirled her wine. It's not very interesting. You know all about my work. Even came to my construction site to bring lunch last week. She smiled at the memory. Your colleagues were quite surprised that someone like you would be interested in someone like me. The words slipped out before he could stop them. Amelia set down her glass. Is that what you think? That there's a mismatch here? Lucas sighed. Come on, Amelia. You arrive in designer clothes even when you're dressed down. Your driver picks you up in vehicles worth more than I make in a year. You're clearly successful and You're what? A dedicated father, a hard worker. Someone who stops to help strangers when others drive by. Her voice was passionate. Lucas, if you think I care about income brackets, you don't know me at all. It's not that simple, he argued. Our worlds are different. They don't have to be, not if we don't let them. Lucas looked away. I can't give you the lifestyle you're used to. I've never asked you to. Amelia reached for his hand. These past weeks have been the happiest I've had in years. Do you know why? Because with you and Emma, everything feels real, not calculated or strategic or about appearances. Lucas wanted to believe her, but doubt lingered. What happens when the novelty wears off? Amelia's eyes flashed. Is that what you think this is? A rich girl slumming it for kicks? I didn't say that. You didn't have to. She stood abruptly. I should go. Lucas caught her hand. Amelia, wait, I'm sorry, I'm just scared. Her expression softened. Of what? Of not being enough, of you realizing you could do better. Amelia sat back down, closer this time. Lucas Jameson, you are more than enough. And there is no better than a man who treats his daughter and everyone around him with such genuine care. Before he could respond, she leaned forward and kissed him. All his doubts momentarily dissolved as he pulled her closer, losing himself in the connection he'd been fighting for weeks. When they finally broke apart, Amelia rested her forehead against his. I'm falling for you, Lucas, and it terrifies me too because I've never felt this way before. He brushed a strand of hair from her face. I'm falling for you too. God help me, but I am. The following Saturday, Amelia invited Lucas and Emma to her place for the first time. She'd been vague about where she lived, and Lucas was stunned when they pulled up to a sleek high-rise overlooking the water. You live here, Emma gasped, pressing her face against the truck window. I do, Amelia smiled, looking slightly nervous as the valet approached Lucas's truck with obvious confusion. Lucas felt immediately out of place as they rode the private elevator to the top floor. Amelia's penthouse was modern and elegant, with floor-to-ceiling windows offering breathtaking views of the city and water beyond. This place is amazing, Lucas said, trying to keep the discomfort from his voice. It's just a place, Amelia replied, watching his reaction carefully. I'd trade all this square footage for the warmth of your apartment any day. Emma had no such reservations, exploring with wide-eyed wonder. You can see the whole world from here, Amelia laughed. Not quite the whole world, but it is a nice view. As Amelia showed them around, Lucas noticed the subtle signs of extreme wealth he'd missed before the original artwork on the walls, the custom furnishings, the technology seamlessly integrated throughout the space. I made lunch, Amelia said, leading them to the kitchen. Nothing fancy, just sandwiches and soup. But even this simple meal was served on what Lucas suspected was expensive dishware, with fresh ingredients that definitely hadn't come from the discount grocery store he frequented. While Emma ate happily, Lucas grew quieter, the reality of their differences impossible to ignore in this setting. After lunch, Amelia suggested a movie in her home theater, an actual dedicated room with plush seating and a screen larger than Lucas's living room. Daddy, can we have a theater at home? Emma asked innocently. Not quite like this, pumpkin, he answered, feeling the divide between their worlds expand with each passing minute. Later, while Emma was engrossed in the movie, Amelia pulled Lucas into the hallway. You've barely said 2 words since we arrived. What's wrong? Lucas ran a hand through his hair. This is who you really are, isn't it, all this? He gestured around them. This is where I live, not who I am, Amelia countered. I wanted you to see this part of my life, but it doesn't define me. How can it not? Amelia, this isn't just money. This is wealth on a level I can't even comprehend. She took a deep breath. I should have been more forthcoming. My father founded Nightingale Investments 30 years ago. When he died 5 years ago, I took over as CEO. Lucas stared at her. Nightingale Investments, the global finance company? Yes, so you're not just wealthy, you're a billionaire, technically, she admitted quietly. But Lucas, that's never been important to me in terms of us. He laughed without humor. How can it not be? Look at this place, Amelia. Look at my life. I'm working 2 jobs just to make rent. And that matters to you, but it doesn't matter to me, she insisted, reaching for his hands. Lucas pulled away. It should, we're from different planets. No, we're not. We're 2 people who care about each other. The rest is just circumstance. Circumstance, he echoed incredulously. Amelia, you could buy my entire apartment building without blinking. So what? Does that make me less human, less capable of feelings? Her voice rose with frustration. I've dated men with money, Lucas, men who saw me as a merger opportunity or a trophy. You saw me as a person who needed help that night, not as a potential business connection or a checkbook. Lucas ran his hands over his face. I don't know how to process this. Process what? That I have feelings for you. That Emma makes me laugh. That I look forward to our time together more than anything else in my life. You could have anyone, he said quietly. I don't want anyone, I want you. She stepped closer. The man who stopped to help me when others drove by. The father who makes chocolate chip pancakes and works 2 jobs without complaint. The person who makes me feel like Amelia, not the Nightingale heiress. Before Lucas could respond, Emma appeared in the doorway. Is the movie over, sweetheart? He asked, forcing a smile. It's paused. Are you and Amelia fighting? Her small face showed concern. No, honey, Amelia answered gently. We're just having a grown-up talk. Emma looked between them. About money, because Daddy says we don't have much, but we have enough for what matters. Lucas felt his heart constrict at his daughter's words. Amelia knelt to Emma's level. Your daddy is very wise. Money isn't what matters most, she said, glancing up at Lucas. People matter, kindness matters, love matters. Emma nodded seriously. That's what Daddy always says. Lucas felt something shift inside him as he watched Amelia with his daughter. Here was this extraordinary woman, kneeling in her multi-million-dollar penthouse, earnestly agreeing with the simple values he'd tried to instill in Emma. Why don't you finish the movie, Em? We'll be right there, he said softly. After Emma returned to the theater, Lucas turned to Amelia. I've been an idiot, haven't I? A bit, she smiled tentatively, but an understandable one. It's just overwhelming knowing who you really are. I'm still the same person you've been getting to know. The CEO part is just my job, not my identity. Lucas took her hands. I need time to adjust to this, but I don't want to lose what we're building. Neither do I, Amelia whispered, relief evident in her eyes. He pulled her close. For the record, I was falling for you when I thought you were just a woman in a nice dress with a broken-down Mercedes. She laughed against his chest. And I was falling for you when you stepped between me and that drunk, looking like an exhausted knight in a worn jacket. The adjustment wasn't immediate or always smooth. In the weeks that followed, Lucas struggled with his pride when Amelia wanted to treat them to experiences he could never afford. They argued when she offered to pay for Emma to attend a prestigious private school, Lucas insisting his daughter's current education was perfectly adequate. It's not charity, Lucas, Amelia had said exasperatedly. It's wanting to share what I have with people I care about. There has to be balance, he'd countered. I can't always be the one receiving. They found compromise. Lucas accepted some gifts like theater tickets for Emma's birthday, but insisted on contributing in ways he could, like preparing meals or fixing things around Amelia's penthouse, rather than her calling maintenance. Amelia, for her part, came to appreciate the simplicity Lucas valued. She joined their supermarket trips, learning to coupon and finding unexpected joy in discovering deals. She admitted that, despite her wealth, she'd never experienced the satisfaction of making something from scratch until Lucas taught her to build Emma a bookshelf for her room. 4 months into their relationship, Lucas was fixing Amelia's kitchen sink when Emma, who was doing homework at the counter, asked innocently, "Are you going to marry Amelia, Daddy?" Lucas nearly hit his head on the pipe. Amelia, who had just entered the kitchen, froze. What? Emma asked. You're always together anyway, and you look at her like Prince Charming looks at Cinderella. Lucas emerged from under the sink, face flushed. Emma, those are very private questions. It's okay, Amelia said, setting down the groceries she'd brought in. It's a fair question. She turned to Emma. Your dad and I care about each other very much, but marriage is a big decision grown-ups have to think about carefully. Emma considered this. But you want to, right? Amelia's eyes met Lucas's. I think that's something your dad and I need to talk about first, just us. Later that night, after Emma was asleep in the guest room that had gradually accumulated her toys and books, Lucas and Amelia sat on the balcony of the penthouse. I'm sorry about Emma's question earlier, Lucas began. Don't be. Children have a way of cutting to the heart of things. Amelia took a sip of her wine. She wasn't entirely off base, you know. Lucas's heart rate quickened. What do you mean? I mean, I have been thinking about a future with you, with both of you. Even with all our complications, Amelia set down her glass. What complications exactly? That you work hard for what you have. That you've taught Emma values money can't buy. That you really saw me when most people only see my bank account. Lucas took her hand. When you put it that way. I love you, Lucas. I've been waiting for the right moment to say it, but maybe there isn't one. I love your integrity, your dedication to Emma, your refusal to be impressed by material things. Lucas felt something unlock in his chest. I love you too. God, I've been fighting it because it seemed impossible, but I do. I have for months. Amelia moved closer. Then what are we afraid of? That our worlds are too different, that I'll never truly fit in yours and you'll grow tired of mine. Or, she countered, we could create our own world, one that takes the best of both. Lucas considered this. What would that look like to you? A life where we value both comfort and simplicity. Where Emma gets opportunities but also learns the worth of earning things. Where you don't have to work 2 jobs but can still teach her the dignity of hard work. She paused. A life where your pride and my resources find balance because we're partners, not a charity case and benefactor. That sounds. Lucas searched for the word. Possible, Amelia suggested. Worth fighting for, he finished, pulling her close. 6 months later, Lucas stood in the backyard of their new home, a comfortable house in a good neighborhood. Not ostentatious, but with enough space for Emma to have a proper yard. They'd compromised. Lucas had accepted Amelia's help with the down payment, but insisted on contributing to the mortgage payments from his construction job, which he'd kept while letting go of the security position. Amelia had made changes too. While still running Nightingale Investments, she'd restructured her role to allow more family time. She traded some of her board positions for community work, including starting a foundation to help single parents further their education. Penny for your thoughts. Amelia asked, joining him on the patio where he was grilling dinner. Just thinking about how much has changed in a year, he replied, wrapping an arm around her waist. Last summer I was counting pennies for pancake mix. And I was attending charity events alone, wondering why success felt so empty. She leaned into him. Now look at us. They watched as Emma played with her new puppy on the lawn, a rescue they'd adopted together. The engagement ring on Amelia's finger caught the evening light. No regrets. Lucas asked, a question he still needed reassurance on occasionally. Only that I didn't get my car stuck near your route sooner, she teased, then grew serious. Not a single one, just that I almost let my pride cost us this. He gestured to their home, their life. From the yard, Emma called, Daddy, Amelia, come see what Scout can do. Hand in hand, they joined Emma on the lawn, their unlikely love story continuing to unfold in a world they'd created together, one that valued both pancakes and prosperity, integrity and opportunity. And most importantly, the family they'd built from a chance encounter on a rainy Seattle night. You know what I'm most grateful for, Amelia whispered as they watched Emma command the puppy to sit. What's that? That drunk guy who wouldn't leave me alone. She smiled up at Lucas. Sometimes the worst moments lead to the best ones. Lucas kissed her forehead. I'll drink to that. Just not too much. Wouldn't want to need someone to stop me from following you home. Too late, Amelia laughed, squeezing his hand. You've already followed me home for good. And as the summer evening wrapped around them, Lucas knew with absolute certainty that some journeys, no matter how improbable their beginnings, were always meant to be.